Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody pumped up today? It's Monday.
Pumped up.
Other than Julie, has anybody had any interesting stories from the weekend? Any injuries to report? Julie had a client fall through an attic this weekend and broke 3 ribs. So.
Oh, yeah.
Did he go all the way through?
No, he caught himself on the floor joists.
Oh, okay.
Or else it would probably be, I would be at his funeral. Yes.
That transaction would have canceled.
Probably gone away, yes.
But you wouldn't be able to report it that someone died there.
So, by show of hands, who was not here last week for the beginning of this? Okay, just 4, 5. Yeah, of course, folks. So we're going to review, just real quick, a cursory review of the items we discussed last week, but we're going to dive into the last 3 principles pretty deeply and have some group exercises a little bit. For those that were here last week, did anybody kind of create or change a morning routine by chance? Did you think about changing that based on what you do? Would you be willing to tell the group what you did?
I get up and I drink water,
Good for you.
and then I stretch.
And you stretch. That's awesome.
Get up and drink water and then go for a walk.
Go for a walk. How, 15 minutes or so?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, that's fantastic.
From 6:30 to 7 something.
Yeah, so one thing we discussed last week, for those of you who weren't here, is when you wake up first thing in the morning typically you wake up at 4 a.m., right? Isn't that right, Kim?
Yes, sir.
5 a.m.? 5 a.m. is a great time to get up. Your body's dehydrated from the night. You haven't had anything to eat or drink for quite a while, and you want to drink a nice cold glass of water first thing. And what you're doing is you're rehydrating your body. You're getting that water back into your bloodstream, into your organs. It kind of kickstarts everything, helps you start fresh and get your mind ready to take on the day. Interestingly enough, last week we talked about how Elrod's book, The Morning Miracle, or Miracle Morning, anybody check that out yet? So I'm going to have, Kim came in this morning and mentioned that she knows how. She used to work for Cutco. And for those of you that don't know, again, Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is an incredible book on setting yourself up for success first thing in the morning. But Kim, can you tell a little bit about Hal?
Hal is an amazing, amazing young guy who was working for Cutco when he had a almost life-ending car accident and was not expected to make it, and was coming back from actually an event that we were having at Cutco. And he pulled through, and that's how the whole Miracle Morning and Savers program was actually started, was as steps of his recovery and practices and his outlook on life and how that has impacted him. And he has a huge Facebook group. He travels the world speaking. He has a wife and 2 young children now, and just recently beat a very rare and aggressive form of cancer as well. And throughout this entire process, he has done this Miracle Morning and the Savers, and follows exactly what John was saying. John actually mentioned last week in the talk that he gets up every morning, drinks a glass of water. I'm like, before he even said Hal, I knew that was Hal, because that's one of his first things for the Miracle Morning to do. So he actually has not only the Miracle Morning, but he has a Miracle Morning for real estate agents, which I read as well. They're both very good reads. They're simple little steps that you can put into practice that really do make a huge impact on your life. I do many of the same steps that John does every morning. I get up about between 4 and 5, drink a big huge glass of water, do my affirmations, and there's 5 steps that you can follow. So Hal truly is true to what you're reading in those books. I know him. He's that guy. What he says is what he's doing. So I really encourage everyone to read it. It's made a huge impact in my life since I've started implementing the Miracle Morning steps.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I think that's just awesome. She knows, and I just couldn't believe it. But also, if you don't want to read the book, there is the audio book as well on iTunes. So as you're going out doing showings or traveling around, you can listen to it in your car. Again, Hal actually does the narration on the audio book. So it is a really, really good book. And it's easy to follow. It's just easy to understand, easy to read. So to review last week, the 6 principles of successful real estate agents, the first one is having the right mindset. That Miracle Morning we talked about is really that first step in setting your mindset so you can be successful throughout your day and creating that momentum for your career. Second principle is start the business cycle by talking to people. We're gonna dive a little bit more into that as well as today. But again, we're salespeople. We've got to talk to people in order to promote our business and what we do. Stay on the business path. That tends to be very difficult for a lot of agents to do, is we're easily distracted. Sometimes we have ADD or ADHD and squirrel comes across, we get distracted so easily. And so it's for a lot of us, we stray off that path too easily. And so it's important to try to recognize those opportunities when you might stray off the path, and then get back on it. And you're going to stray off the path. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's okay. All right, the fourth principle we're going to talk about today, prioritize your actions, lead generate like the pros, and then be accountable. So let's talk about principle 4, prioritize your actions. Your activities fall into 2 categories. Anybody care to guess what those categories might be as an agent?
Productive, non-productive?
Well, business producing, absolutely. These are activities that are going to produce sales. Then there's business supporting. These are activities that support you generating business. Where do most agents feel comfortable spending the majority of their time?
Producing.
Supporting. Why? It's easy. Sit on a computer. You can just say, I'm going to sit on a computer and do this. I'm going to work on my CRM, or I'm going to create this ad on Facebook, or I'm going to go through and look at my feed. So most agents waste time, and more time than they should, in the business supporting role. So let's talk about business producing. What does this mean to you, and how do we make sure that you're doing the right things so that you can be successful? First one's lead generating. We handed out, for those of you here last week, we handed out this daily prospecting checklist as well as the weekly one. Anybody using this yet?
Can I get one?
Yeah, I've got extra, so I'll hand them out to you. It's important that every day you're focused on the most important thing to build your business, and that's lead generation. Following up on leads. That's the same principle. You talked to somebody yesterday, are you going to talk to them today? And then what's your follow-up plan to continue to stay in dialogue with those individuals? Qualifying buyers. Where are they in the buying cycle? Are they ready to buy now, 6 months, 12 months? What about showing homes? Right? That's also important. Writing and presenting offers to purchase. Self-explanatory. Anybody do any offers this weekend? Yay, that's good. Listing presentations to sellers, listing marketable properties. So when we get back to these business producing activities, a lot of it's going to be centered around what activities are you doing to lead generate, and where does that fall? Are you going to be setting listing appointments, setting buyer appointments, showing homes, and also presenting offers? Business supporting activities, previewing properties. Again, I'm not knocking any of these, right? We do them, but it's important to recognize as an agent, is this making you money, right? Is this going to add to your bottom line? We're in the business to make money. This is a for-profit industry, right? So you need to spend your time wisely. Following up on transactions, making flyers, sending out emails and mailings. Again, that's not lead generation, that's marketing. Attending meetings like you're doing today, furthering your education, website, CRM maintenance, and then social media marketing. These are all business supporting activities. So it's, again, the distinction between the two is important to recognize. Most new agents spend too much time on marketing and not enough time on lead generation. All right. What I want to hand out right now is a prototype of a weekly schedule. And we'll discuss this a little bit. So every day you have an opportunity to lead generate and to work and to make money. This falls on your shoulders. How do you divide up your day? How do you plan your day? Are very, very important in determining how many transactions you're going to do, how much money you're going to make. So this is a prototype of a weekly schedule that Again, one of the books that I really enjoy is this Up and Running in 30 Days. And he does a really good job of explaining a lot of these things, but he breaks down a weekly schedule on what activities you should be spending your time on, and also how much time you should be spending doing those. So if you remember last week, we talked about lead generating or sales calls. How many hours a day did we say we wanted to spend doing that? 4. Okay? Now, you can break that up to spend a 4-hour block making phone calls, probably a little hard to do. Like, I would recommend breaking that up first thing in the morning and also between like 4 and 6 in the afternoon. Those are typically your best times to reach people. 8 o'clock and then 4 o'clock. But if you look, he breaks down the schedule. What are some activities that you need to be doing? Proactively lead generate, 4 hours, 5 days a week. Attending an open house or hosting an open house once a week. You could actually do Saturday and Sunday. Floor time, and I know Brian's not in here, but Brian hosted an open house for me 2 weeks ago and got like 4 leads from it, 4 buyer leads. 2 of them made offers on that house. So,
Wow.
again, attending open houses can result in very successful time spent for you. And I highly encourage you to ask other agents. They have an open house coming up soon, so you can get on that schedule to host the open houses. Floor time, again, we got the front desk, business meeting, office education, that's what you're doing here. Again, there's mentor coaching. I know, Kim, you're a mentor, is that correct? Ed, are you a mentor as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's mentors in the office that coach agents. If you don't have one, it might be a good idea for you to look into it. But we'll talk about a little later that you need to be held accountable. If you're not gonna hold yourself accountable, it makes sense to try and find somebody that will, right? If you're saying, I'm gonna commit to doing this much every week, who's gonna review that with you and talk about how well you did or did? Most people fail at holding themselves accountable. It's just too easy not to do it. Does everybody understand that? Like, how many of you work out every day in the gym, but want to? Right. We just find ways to make up our mind that we're not, I got to do something different. We talked about that mindset. So utilize this schedule. He does a really good job of kind of breaking things down for you. And maybe design a framework for you that works for your schedule. Not everybody can follow this to a T, not expecting that. But the idea is to spend just the right amount of time lead generating and business producing activities that'll help build your business. We want you to be successful. And we talked about last week, the number 1 principle for HPW is to help our agents grow their business, right? That's what these classes are designed for. You've got the mentors, you've got all the resources at the office. So we want you to be successful, but only you can do it. We'll help you get there, but you have to be determined in doing those activities that are going to generate revenue for your income. Any questions about this? You looked at it, like it, don't like it?
That's good.
Could you see incorporating this into your business? Rachel, I didn't see where it says O2 Fitness, but I'm sure we can work out. Is that where you work out?
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah. But your gym time, if you do a gym, I know Rachel does gym quite a bit, you can schedule that in and make it happen. Whatever that looks like for you. But walking in the morning, 30 minutes is fantastic. Any questions about the weekly schedule? All right. I want to hand out this stuff this week. Real quick, for those, Rachel, Kim, okay. These are some of the handouts from last week that we used. If you want to use those. All right, principle 5, lead generating like the pros. Last week, we also had a handout of ABCs of building your database. We'll hand that out to you guys as well as weren't here last week. Has anybody gone through that and tried to start creating a database for themselves? You want to be successful? All right, superstars. When we're talking about superstars, we're talking about successful agents. How are they successful? Can you talk to them? Superstars secure at least 50% of their business from people they know, personal referrals. Why is this important? What are some benefits personal referrals give you that you don't get from other sources?
Testimony.
Testimony? Fantastic. What else? There's kind of an established relationship and trust already built in to that handoff. I got a referral last night from a client. Okay, previous client. Those are invaluable to you. And so when we look at how do I build referrals, the biggest thing is finding people that you know, right? Here's an example of, I don't know how many lines this is, 300 lines of people you might know. You probably can build 400 people from this list that you know, but then you can work on developing and strengthening that relationship and showing them that you are an experienced agent, that you want to help them and people they know be successful in real estate. Okay? Help them find a house, sell a house, whatever. So find ways to develop relationships with people, because those referrals, it's free money. It is free money. It's very cost effective. They also gain business by promoting themselves on their successes. They create a lead generation plan that meets their goals. And they secure a majority of their business through proactive lead generation. They find people, they don't wait for the phone to ring for people calling them. How many of us like when the phone calls us, right? Be easy. If all we did is wait for the phone to ring, it's not gonna happen. So it's important to understand the distinction. You have to make the phone ring. You've got to go out and lead generate. It's not gonna happen for you. Real estate is still a relationship business. Despite everything that you might think, it's all about relationships. Relationship marketing creates the most business in the shortest amount of time with the least cost. Again, that goes back to that referral-based business. If you can get to a point where 50% of your business coming in is personal referrals, that is very lucrative. Your return on investment is super high. Like, I know, Julie, you do. Anybody do online lead generation? Like I do. I do Realtor.com. You do Zillow, is that right? When you get a lead coming in from those sources, it's not a relationship. They don't know you from Adam. That person is looking at a house. They just want to see it, or they're interested in buying it. So establishing that relationship with somebody who doesn't know you from Adam is really difficult to do. It creates a different set of circumstances. Whereas a relationship from somebody saying, hey, John Doe said you helped him buy a house, can you help me? That is worlds apart. So if we're saying that for the money, relationship or personal referrals are the best source for your time, again, find ways to make those relationships last and get those referrals coming in. This also helps create a long-term business model. Again, when 50% of your business or more is coming in referrals, again, you're not having to do a whole lot for that. Now this is scary. And some of you may already know this, Kim, you probably know this. Recent study, and I think it's NAR that did this, found that less than 40% of agents contacted their clients after closing. Think about that. Less than 40% of agents. That's an opportunity for you to recognize, hey, I might want to change how other agents are doing business. If you can generate a relationship, you've already closed their transaction. Most of the time, they're generally satisfied with your performance. Sometimes it doesn't work out, right? It's a strained relationship. But if the transaction went well, do everything in your power to stay in contact with that agent. And then you've got to communicate with them and explain to them, hey, guess what? Personal referrals are very important to my success. Do all of you feel comfortable telling your client that? You good with that? Sometimes people say, don't do it anyway. I don't need to tell them that, it's already understood. No, you've got to mention that to them. Right? Some people don't know that.
You want your keys to the car cleaning guy?
I just did it yesterday.
He's been stalking you for like a month.
I'm sorry. I just did it yesterday. They also use technology to systemize the marketing plan. we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes, but, you know, how many touches do you currently have with past clients per year? This includes CRM, and we have a internal CRM, right? I'm not very proficient with it, but you may already be. I have a different one, but they're really doing some robust updates. I've got to learn how to use that. How to maintain your relationship. Now, this is, again, this is not a hard and fast rule. This is a recommended, this is Tom Ferry recommends 24 touches per year per client. Now, a touch doesn't necessarily have to mean a phone call, right? If you're calling somebody 24 times a year, they might get tired of hearing from you. But what does a touch mean? So a touch can be a phone call, it can be an email, it can be a newsletter, it can be a market snapshot of their current market condition of their home. It can be a text, absolutely. It can be a personal note. Now, I'm a huge fan of personal acknowledgement notes. And these can be anything, hey, I was thinking of you, hope you're doing well, don't forget me, I'm here to help you and people that you care about with real estate needs. Those are all very important, but it's recommended if you want to stay top of mind, touch those clients 24 times a year. This can include like 4 personal phone calls a year, that's 1 a quarter. Monthly email blast, the market snapshot, personal handwritten notes, thinking of you. What if, let's say you've got clients that have small children and a new park open near their house. You may want to write them a note, hey, did you see this new park open? Just something that says they're top of mind to you and you care about them and their family. And again, you got to uncover some of those layers too. So when you're meeting with clients, and we'll talk about it here in a second, but get to know them. Get to know who they are, how many children they have, important dates to them when you're doing your consultation. Evidence of success card. One of the really cool things that you could send out is a postcard saying, I've got this new listing. Do you know anybody that might be interested in this home? Not only are you thinking of that client and you're putting your face in front of them, but you're also showing them inadvertently that, hey, you're a successful agent. You've got a listing, right? And so they don't know the difference. They're like, oh, Julie sent me this postcard. Maybe I do know somebody that might be interested in that. But it's just one touch that you're doing to keep on the top of their mind. So if they ever have a real estate need, they're going to contact you.
I like that idea.
I like that idea too.
What information do you need? When you sit down and you're talking to somebody that's a potential client, what all do you need from them?
Phone number,
Phone number, fantastic.
email address.
Email address, right? And this is, you have to be a little creative with this. If you just don't have a relationship with somebody, you start saying, well, I need this and this and this and this and this, they're gonna be a little hesitant and it might strain that relationship, right? So you've got to build the trust with that contact. Now, if you've got an appointment, you're sitting in front of it, it's a little easier to get some of this information, but you can get creative in how to dig this information out during your conversation, right? Because you'll spend a good 5 or 10 minutes when you first meet with somebody, small talk, right? Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long you been in Raleigh? Do you have a family? Do you have any children? You know, those things will help you uncover. And you've got to make these mental notes. Don't just have like, you know, how many children you got? 2. How old are they? You know, don't be a robot. Right? Have conversational analysis with those clients and get good at that, because then you'll be able to figure out what are some ways I can strengthen my relationship with this client based on these attributes that they have. And so make sure you uncover those things during a conversation. Don't just act like you're a robot. You know, you might have a sheet, a checklist, like I've got a buyer info sheet, for example, and it has a lot of those questions on it, but I don't sit down and ask them questions. I just have a conversation, and afterwards I'll go back and fill that out.
That's a good idea too. And one thing I do, John, like early on in talking to them, I just listen for like a little cue on what would be a good closing gift.
Okay?
That's personal, more than just like, so, you know.
So to
That's what
that,
I do too.
yeah, to that point, if you're getting the same closing gift for every client, not a bad idea, right? Cutco's fine, right? Not a bad idea, but it carries a lot more weight if it's something that's specific and personalized for that customer that's important to them. It's a very good point. I don't do closing gifts, it's just not my thing, right? But you can, nothing wrong with it. I just don't like spending money on them, I'm cheap. That's just me. I wow them with my service.
But there's no right or wrong, John. I
No.
mean, to go to your
No.
point, I do
Yeah.
Oh,
closing
no.
gifts, there's
I'm
some
not saying
clients
it's
I
wrong.
haven't been, but there's really no right or wrong. It
Oh,
depends-
absolutely
I mean, it's
not.
all about your relationship with them.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it's
I
not
connect
needed. I
with
mean, I've
people.
had clients who I don't give a closing gift to, and I've got more referrals from them than ones I get closing gifts to. It's just the relationships that you build with them.
Absolutely.
You know?
No, I totally get that. I'm not saying one way or wrong or another. I'm sorry
Yeah.
if I came across that way. No, it's just not what
Oh,
works for
no,
me.
you're fine.
But how about, because here's some things I do. So instead of a closing gift, like, after Halloween, I'll take them a pumpkin with a no, for Thanksgiving, right? Setting up their house for Thanksgiving. Or poinsettia for Christmas. So I do gifts, I just don't do it at the closing table. Because A, they're, closing on a house, they got all these things going through their mind, they're moving. Just, it can be very hectic and stressful. So I try and do things a little differently throughout the year. That's just my thing.
No, I like that too.
Whatever works, works. There's no wrong way to do that.
Give liquor and tell them to come over and drink with them.
What's that?
Like you bottle of wine or like a
Sure.
bottle of liquor, so you'd be like, hey, I'll come over and drink this with you one time, and then get stand in front of them, come and hang out, check out the house, once you get
Yeah,
settled.
you can do a bottle of liquor, absolutely. If that's what the client's into, right? You gotta drive home. You might have to spend the night with them, I guess,
I know
right?
what Maggie's favorite wine is.
That's right.
All right, let's talk about lead generation sources. What are some lead generation sources that you guys have used?
Open board.
Friends and family.
Friends and family, absolutely. What else? People you know, friends and family, top priority. This is your sphere. This is your immediate sphere. These are people that you know. And then if you were to call up and say, hey, let's go grab coffee, or let me come over and do a market analysis of your house, right? These are people that know and trust you, and through your relationship, you can build referrals off that. They may not be needing a house. They may not need to move. That's okay. That's not your point. Your point is, because they know other people, is to get them to be a referral source for you down the road. I call them raving fans. I don't know if you've heard that term before, but if you have a raving fan, that's somebody who, the minute they hear, around the coffee machine at work, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. Hey, you need to call Julie. Those are the people you want to really devote a lot of time to and nurture that relationship. Circle prospecting. What is circle prospecting? Anybody know? I have an idea. So, I wish Brian was in here. So Brian hosted an open house for me that was a condo, it was in a condo complex. What if Brian, 2 days before, had started knocking on doors in this complex, say, hey, I've got an open house coming up Saturday, who do you know that might be interested in living here in this subdivision? Right? That's very easy to do. You can hand out a card and say, I'll be here Saturday, 1 to 4, or whatever your time is. You're developing relationships that way, by saying, I've got this open house, even though it's not his listing, doesn't matter. Those people don't know the difference. You're there to get leads. So circle prospecting, and you can do this with postcards too. I don't know how to, I've never done it, so I don't know if it's easy or not.
It's easy.
But knocking on doors is a great way to promote an open house. Just go out through the neighborhood, walk around. I have a flyer about the property, say, this is coming on the market, I've got an open house, who do you know that might be interested in buying?
Now, is that considered soliciting? So if it says no soliciting, can you do that? Or is that just if you're selling something, right?
And they-
I used to
I'm
invite
Technically,
neighbors to my open
technically, you're
houses.
not supposed to be doing that if it's no.
I'm on video, I don't know. Sometimes it's better to ask.
So just
for
common
forgiveness.
sense, right?
Spark Doug's dog and go up in the neighborhood.
Let somebody ask you to stop. For example, I hate this. So, the open house, you can't have signs or flags or anything like that. I put up flags. But here's what happened. So the HOA lady came, so it was a 1 to 4 open house. I think Brian said she came in about 10 to 4, said, hey, you can't have these signs like, and Brian, I don't know how he told me, but he transitioned that lady from the HOA into coming through the house, surprised at the sales price of the house, looked at what she could do to hers, and created a relationship out of that. Right?
That's
Somebody
awesome.
saying, come down and take down the flags. So, listen, it works. The flags work. Even though sometimes negative publicity works, it all works. So, better ask for forgiveness and permission. That's my motto.
Yeah, I think that window falls, they're strict about signs, so I put my open house signs like right before my open house is gonna start, you know, like from like Wendell Farms Parkway or whatever, and then I just kind of pray that nobody takes it down. But I know where the sales office is, you know,
Yeah.
like, I'm coming to get my signs.
Great point. Lead generate, we talked about open houses. Definitely recommend that you do open houses. Great way to generate leads. But also, we'll talk about scripts later. Make sure you're well versed and you learn some scripts on how to handle open houses and talking to people. Face-to-face networking, there are, I don't know, thousands of opportunities to network face-to-face. Even if you go to the grocery store, right? Like a lot of times I'll go to Whole Foods and eat their breakfast or something over there. And you have opportunities to network with either cashier or people that are sitting there eating as well. And there are networking events. There's Meetup app. I don't know if anybody looked at that. There's meetups all over the area. There's thousands of ways to do networking. There's B&I groups.
Actually, just wearing your name tag, John.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten now a referral from actually a person at the post office who's now looking for a home. She said I was just over there just mailing something a couple weeks ago. And she's like, oh my goodness, you're a realtor. And then I was in Dillard's like a week and a half ago and looking for shoes. And the gentleman there was like, you know, all my friends are buying houses. I'm renting. Should I be buying? And I gave him my information.
Wow.
So now,
That's
that was just
awesome.
from my, you know, just from my name tag. So.
It's a good point.
Yep.
Very good.
Thank you for sharing. For sale by owners and expired listings. That's a great opportunity to generate some business that way, especially for sale by owners. Expired listings right now might be a little difficult because if it's expired, there's a really reason that it's expired. In such a hot market, it may not be somebody you want to talk to. Online leads, we touched on this earlier. You know, you can purchase online leads. Just be careful about spending money and make sure you get a return on your investment. And then the ABCs of building your database. You want to pass this out? This is, Rachel and Kim, this is just a kind of a checklist, jogging your memory of people you may know, and you can add to your database. All right, let's talk about communicating. What are some advantages of learning scripts?
I guess like if you're put on the spot, you're ready, or you're more sure of yourself.
You're confident? Sure, absolutely. What else? Why are they important? They give you confidence in your job, to your you don't waste the prospect's time or your time. They allow you to stay focused and in the present moment. Oh, they provide consistency in what you say and do, and the agent remains in control, as a salesperson should. Being confident in having those scripts allows you to stay in control of the conversation, because a lot of times you might be speaking to somebody and they're like, no, I've already got somebody, or you know, there's some kind of objection that you've got to learn how to overcome. But once you do that, like how many times have you been on the phone with a telemarketer, which thousands of times a day it seems like, but you get that one telemarketer who's smooth, who's got his scripts memorized, and you're like, wait a minute, I might want to talk a little further, you know. It's just like, there's just a transition, because they know what they're doing. They're not just, hey, what's your name, you know, do you need a warranty? They're not mechanicalized. It's they know their scripts, right? And it becomes, if you know your scripts and also objection handling, you can be very efficient in going through those conversations with clients, and it'll help you with your lead generation. I'm gonna email out this 68-page dialogues for breakthrough conversations. I'll email it out to everybody. This is absolutely fantastic. And again, there's no complete set of scripts. The Tom Ferry organization does a really good job of providing scripts for everybody to use, okay? So we're gonna do a little exercise. Let's see here. Now, and we talked about, and I meant to mention this earlier, role playing and having a partner to learn scripts with. Spend 15 minutes a day or something, but try to learn scripts and have it become a part of your dialogue. Tatiana. Let me see.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Excited.
Yeah, I want you to do this one.
Oh. Kind of like a.
All right, so this is, Tatiana's, can you see through the highlight? I'm sorry. Tatiana's gonna read a text for a past client. This is something you can do very easily.
Okay, so, hi, I'm John, and so do I have to read with the name or with my name?
Or just say, hi, John, that's
John,
fine,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so, hi, John, the market's really moving and home values are going up. Curious about your home's new value? So, sure, sounds great. The other
Yep.
person says, sure, sounds great. Now, wonderful. I put together your home's value. Have you done an upgrade? Once it's ready, you want to meet for a coffee or just stop by the house? And it says, he asks how the market.
If he asks how's the market?
Okay, so it depends. It's different for buyers, sellers, investors, or renters. When's good? When's a good time to talk?
Yeah, when's a good time to talk?
Okay. So
Yeah, so when somebody asks you, how's the market, you know, you have that response and you memorize it, so it rolls off the tongue versus, what's most agents say? Oh, it's fantastic, I can't hang up, I can't stay, it's too busy, right? That's such a bad response to that question, because it doesn't lead to anything with that client. It doesn't make them think any better of you, right? Thank you for that, appreciate that. So to Tatiana's point, you could text previous client, hi Julie, how's the market? Or, the market's really moving and home buyers are going up. Are you curious about your home value? Like, yeah, I'm good. That's fine in a text. Doesn't hurt you one bit. We talked about the 24 touches. That can be one of those 24 touches. If they say, yes, I'm interested, wonderful. I'll put together your home's value. Have you done any upgrades? Oh, once it's ready to go, do you want to meet for coffee or me to just drop by the house? Very simple. Again, these are just simple scripts that you can use to incorporate in your business. Julie, I want you to read this one. if you don't mind.
Oh, gosh, okay.
This is a past client.
Oh, so I put my name, okay. Hey, because I don't say hi. I say-
Okay.
Hey, this is Julie with Coldwell Banker Tire Repair in Boston. How are you? Oh, wonderful. John, I called because I wanted to ask you a favor. I've set a goal for myself to help 10 families buy or sell a home this year, and as you know, referrals are the lifeline of my business. John, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Great. Would you feel comfortable referring people to me as a real estate agent?
Of course.
All right, thank you. Who do you know right now that is looking to buy or sell a home?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you?
Me?
Oh, okay. Well, great. So I don't have to say what are their names. But if you did say somebody, I guess if you just said yes, then what are their names and the best number where I can reach them? Super. Statistics show that 4 to 5 people you know will be buying or selling a home this year. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Isn't that interesting? Mhm. John, moving forward, I know that this obviously will not be the main thing on your mind, but would you mind if I called every couple of months to check in with you?
Sure.
Oh, great, thank you. You're such a great friend. John, I want to thank you in advance for your help.
Now, how cool is that? As you're calling these people, saying, hey, my goal is to sell 20 homes this year. Who do you know that might be interested in buying or selling a home? Really? What are their names? When would be a good time for me to reach out to them? And again, that's a personal referral. And it just reinforces with these relationships you have of getting those referrals and how important they are to your business. So it's a very simple phone call. And it doesn't put any pressure. You're not saying, hey, are you buying a house today? You're not. You're saying, who do you know that might be in the market to either buy or sell a home? So it deflects that off of them, so they're not, so a lot of times when you call somebody, they've got that defense posturing up, right? And they're like, I don't know, I want to talk to you. But now you're saying, who do you know that might be interested in buying or selling a home? So it deflects that a little bit, and they don't feel any pressure necessarily on them. So these are wonderful scripts that I would encourage you to utilize and start practicing so you have them down pat when you're making your phone calls and talk to this. There's 4 sub-owner scripts, expired listing scripts. It's like I said, 68 pages of really, really good stuff. Thank y'all for doing that, appreciate it.
John,
Mhm.
do you typically ask your clients for testimonials? Have you ever-
No,
No.
I don't have, I haven't set up part of my business strategy to have those. I think it's a good idea to do that, but I don't have a marketing platform where I really market that right now. But I think it's great to do that.
Yeah,
We
I do
need
that,
help.
yeah.
Okay.
I do that, and
I
I set
do
up a
that.
platform last year, and
Mhm.
it's made a huge impact.
Yeah,
Huge
Because it
impact.
actually makes
I've
them
connected
think,
with
too.
so many people, I have so many referrals.
yeah.
It's definitely something I would
Mhm.
invest taking a little bit of time in putting together.
Okay.
And, it
Mhm.
really has reconnected.
So are you using Deltanet or are you not using?
I'm actually just using some emails to touch base with them originally,
Mhm.
and then a personal, thank you little note when they do respond, and then that's just opened up everything from there, for me with them.
Well, would
And I
just
went
let
back
them-
to everyone in my database, cause I'd always kind of done it on and off, and last year I was committed to, I'm gonna set up a referral program.
Yep.
And I went back to every single person from when I started, and still, like, it was amazing the number of people who have come back and actually just reached out, or, you know, or even reaching out now this year saying, hey, we might wanna refinance, can you help me? Well, yeah, that's why I'm here, you know? It made a big difference. I saw a huge increase in the number of referrals last year in my business from doing that program.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it really is something you should do, whether you do it through Deltanet or an email campaign or whatever you wanna do.
Yeah, and there's, I think Zillow's got kind of a review link as well for their profiles. I think realtors, my problem is I don't know which one to do, there's so many of them, so I just get bogged down, I'm like, I don't know which one's the right one, but I think
You
it's.
can just kind of send out an email to ask for, you
Yeah.
can even say, like, I had sent to a couple of my clients, oh, I'm just updating my website, would you mind?
That's a great
You know, and
idea,
then
yeah.
they sent this, long reviews, and I put them on my HPW.
Yeah, because a lot of
website.
times, clients do search for your information online, if they see those reviews, I think it carries a lot of weight as well.
I
mean,
had
I know on
one.
Amazon it does, right?
Especially if you, somehow get it to go to your like Google business site, so
Okay.
somebody like just Googles you and it
Mhm.
pops up, like all these stars.
Yeah.
That helps too.
Yeah.
So you need to find one, that's the only problem with our CRM, it doesn't link to that. So I'm trying to
Yeah, that's
research
really technical,
one that
right?
does link
It's
to.
above my pay grade.
I need,
I know how to turn
Figure
my
that
computer
out.
on, that's about all I know.
maybe Darius.
All right, so review your daily prospecting sheets, and how you're spending your time is very, very important. If you're not prospecting every single day and then reviewing your success, and sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you don't, but your goal is to set appointments through these phone calls you're making, this time you're spending. It doesn't cost you any money, right? You're just spending time, in getting through these phone calls and calling these prospects. And we've talked about this multiple times. You are the only one that's responsible for your success. No one else can take credit for that. But you also have to take credit for your failure as well. So we want you to be successful. Be an appointment setting machine. Your goal is to always get in front of this person, right? If you meet someone face to face, shake their hand or look them in the eye, the chances increase substantially of securing that relationship with that client, right? They don't want to turn somebody down that they've met and had a really good conversation. Track your success. We went over those tracking pieces. You've got those. You can use those every single day or every week. And again, I would set goals. Like have a little reward program. If you say, so for example, I don't know, what's a good goal? Do you like shoes, dress shoes? Are you a dress shoe or purse? You like a purse? I don't know.
Like smoothies.
Smoothies.
Yes.
Let's say, well, you need to drink smoothies anyway.
Yeah, they're expensive, so
They are.
it's a treat if I
Okay,
can want it.
so let's say
Proper
you have a goal of setting at least one appointment a day, and when you get that appointment, you can reward yourself with a smoothie. If you don't get it, you don't get a smoothie. Just something as simple as that, right? Makes a big difference. It's a little game you're playing with yourself. All right, we actually did the scripts. I was a little ahead of myself on the scripts. Make sure, until you've got your scripts down, practice those every day. 15 minutes doesn't take a long time, but practice them if you want to get a partner, a buddy, and practice them together. Really help you out. All right, principle 6, be accountable. Quit worrying about your conversion rates. Track your results. Make sure you track your leads, what appointments you're getting, and also the most important thing is your sales. And learn and utilize your CRM, right? I'm not proficient with ours per se, I know Ed can help me with it, but we do have an internal CRM. I use a different one that I've been using many years. But it is important that you track those, and then you can develop, I guess, campaigns that'll tell you, okay, today you need to call these people, you need to send this email out, or do this, call it, you have the ability to set that up so where it's very easy for you to manage your day. And then find an accountability coach or a mentor. Again, very, very important that you are accountable. If we hold ourselves accountable, probably 95% of the time, we will just fall off the path a little bit. All right, commit yourself to those 6 principles and guarantee you will be successful. There's no way around it. Most agents are just not. And I am wrapped up.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Excellent.